Somewhere along a dark river, a woman is crying. She has been crying for centuries. People across Latin America have heard her, or at least they say they have. A sound like wind, but shaped like grief. A voice calling out a name that might be yours. If you hear her, some say you should run. Others say it is already too late. She is La Llorona, the weeping woman. And her story is one of the oldest, most widespread, and most debated legends in the Western Hemisphere. Let us start with what people actually report. The story, in its most common form, goes like this. A beautiful woman falls in love with a man above her social class. They have children together. He leaves her for someone else. Consumed by rage and heartbreak, she drowns her own children in a river. The moment they are gone, she understands what she has done. She weeps. She searches the banks. She cannot stop. When she dies, she is denied entry into heaven until she finds the souls of her children. So she wanders, forever, along rivers and lakes at night, dressed in white, wailing. And sometimes, when she cannot find her own children, she takes someone else's. That is the core. But the details shift depending on where you are standing. In Mexico, the story is often set in the colonial era, the 1500s, shortly after the Spanish conquest. In some versions, the woman is indigenous, and the man who abandons her is a Spanish conquistador. This version carries real historical weight. It echoes the trauma of conquest, of cultures torn apart, of children caught between two worlds. The scholar Domino Renee Perez, in her 2008 book, There Was a Woman, La Llorona, From Folklore to Popular Culture, traces how this version of the legend works as a way for communities to process collective grief, not just personal tragedy. But the story is older than the conquest. Bernardino de Sahagun, the Spanish friar who documented Aztec culture in the mid-1500s, recorded in his Florentine codex a spirit called Cihuacoatl, a goddess associated with women who died in childbirth. She was said to appear at crossroads, weeping, sometimes carrying an empty cradle. The overlap with La Llorona is hard to ignore. Many researchers believe the two stories fused after the conquest, the Aztec goddess blending into the colonial-era ghost story. There's another candidate. Malinche, also known as Dona Marina, was a Nahua woman who served as translator and advisor to Hernan Cortes during the conquest of the Aztec Empire, which ended in 1521. She had a son with Cortes, a boy named Martin, one of the first known mestizo children in Mexican history. Some later retellings cast Malinche as La Llorona, a mother who betrayed her own people and lost everything. Historians debate this sharply. Malinche was a real complex person, and folding her into a ghost story flattens someone whose actual life is worth understanding. But the connection stuck in popular imagination. The legend does not stay in Mexico. It spreads across Guatemala, El Salvador, Colombia, Venezuela, the American Southwest, and far beyond. In some regions of Colombia, La Llorona is said to appear specifically near the Magdalena River, one of the country's great waterways. In New Mexico, the story has been recorded in Spanish-speaking communities since at least the 19th century. Author Rodolfo Anaya, who wrote Bless Me, Ultima in 1972, one of the most important works of Chicano literature, grew up hearing her name spoken as a warning to children who stayed out after dark. That warning function matters. Across cultures and centuries, scary stories have often served a practical purpose. Stay away from rivers at night. Stay close to home. Obey your parents. La Llorona keeps children from the water's edge. Whether you believe she is real or not, she is doing a job. But the legend does something else too. It sits with complicated feelings about motherhood, love, betrayal, and loss in ways that plain daylight conversation often cannot. Folklorist José Limón, in his 1986 essay published in the journal Western Folklore, argued that La Llorona stories carry unspoken anger, particularly the anger of women who had very little power in the societies where these stories circulated. The weeping woman is terrifying. She is also, in some tellings, understandable. So, what is La Llorona, really? No one can say for certain. She is not in any historical record as a real person. There is no verified grave, no court document, no verified date. She lives entirely in oral tradition and in the communities that carry her forward. The leading theories place her origin somewhere in pre-Columbian Mesoamerican goddess traditions, possibly fused with the psychological shock of Spanish colonization after 1519. Some researchers emphasize her role as a warning story. Others see her as a vessel for real grief, the kind that has no other container. She might be all of those things. And on quiet nights, near dark water, when the wind sounds a little too much like a voice, people still wonder. She is still out there, looking.